So I was explaining the issue of a rate card. So basically, this video is going to try and break down what you expect to see on a rate card. It's basically trying to help you understand and be able to read a rate card. A lot of people get rate cards, but they cannot make head or tail of what it is saying. So, like I said, a rate card will have a basic rate card will have your section for sport ads. It will have a section for your sponsorship. It will have a section for your infomercials, right? So let's go to sport ads. Sport ads are the ones that I said run below 60 seconds, which is your normal adverts that you hear in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. So you will have a section that explains the duration of your piece of information that is selling something for you. That is 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 45 seconds, right until you get to 60 seconds. Yes. In that same section, you will have a cost, right? So let's say 5 seconds costs $5, then your 10-second costs $10, and maybe your 20-second costs $15, and it goes on until 60 seconds, right? What you also get on that rate card is a cost without value added tax, and then you also get a cost with value added uh, tax, right? So VAT. So the main one, the first one will not have VAT, and the next one will have VAT. I just want you to understand a rate card when you see a rate card, right? What it will also have is the time of day. Remember, I did say in my earlier video that the time of day matters, right? So basically, in general, you will have your peak, semi-peak, and your off-peak period. What am I talking about? Radio is about audiences. So obviously, in the morning drive show, which is usually called the breakfast show, you will have more audiences because people are driving to work, people are also going to school, people are just basically on the move. So you have larger audiences. So it will cost you more. So basically, this is probably between, depending on, it differs from country to country, it differs from station to station. Maybe your peak period in the morning is 5 a.m. to 9 a.m., right? Sometimes maybe 10 a.m. And then from 9 a.m. right until probably maybe 3 p.m., that's considered semi peak. We still have a lot of audiences, but they have dropped from the morning, right? And then because 3 p.m., 3:30, 4:30, right until maybe 7 p.m., audiences grow again because people are driving back to work, back home, sorry. People are driving back home, people are driving from school, and everything else that they were doing in the city center or wherever they were. So again, that becomes peak period and it'll cost you more, right? And then maybe after that we go into a bit of semi-peak, maybe until 9 p.m., and then 9 p.m. right until 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. in the morning, it's off peak, so it will obviously be more affordable than the peak periods and the semi-peak periods. I just want you to understand what you're looking at when you look at a rate card. So having said this, what you have is, first of all, your duration: 5 seconds, 30 seconds, 20 seconds until 60 seconds. You also have your cost, which will, the first line probably will have no VAT or any tax of any sort. And then you have a price that includes your VAT, right? So that informs you how much you need to pay. It will also give you that section of what time of day. So this is why I was saying, when you ask me how much does it cost to advertise, it's not going to be a one-word answer. It's going to be followed by follow-up questions. And we're not being rude, we're not being evasive. We really want to understand what you expect from us. So this will be the nature of your rate card. I've just explained the time of day, I've explained the duration. So it will be the same when you go to sponsorship. But there's something that we also need to explain about sponsorship. So I did say in my earlier video that sponsorship, you are riding on program that already exists on a radio station. It's part of the programming or the DNA of a radio station. So what you're doing is you're saying, oh, I really like that request show. A lot of people listen to it. A lot of people talk about it. So I would like to align my brand to that popular show. So what we say then is we do not want that show to lose its taste or its sound. So we are going to limit your involvement, but you can ride on it because you're looking for the audiences. So what we do is we break it down for you and say, for maybe a 30-second show, a 30-minute show, it's a request show that runs for 30 minutes. You are only allowed probably 5 minutes of commercial time within the show so that it's not distorted, so that it doesn't lose its meaning, right? That's sponsorship. So, like I was saying, you then get bragging rights, if you want to call them, to say, this request show is brought to you by Lee K Holdings. Already, your program or your brand is aligned to a popular show, right? So if you are getting 5 minutes and your opening billboard, which says, this show is brought to you by Lee K Holdings, you kind of like own that radio show now. And your brand is now aligned to a popular radio show. But let's say the cost of or the duration of that opening billboard is 30 seconds, right? It means we're already taking away the 30 seconds from the 5 minutes that you're entitled to. Then within the show, you are allowed to talk about your product. It could be pre-recorded advertising, or you could choose for the presenter to read or to talk about your product. But if we had a 30-second opening billboard, let's just say maybe the closing billboard will also be uniform and it will be 30 seconds. So out of the 5 minutes that you get, we've already taken out advertising time of 1 minute. That's the 30 seconds of the opening billboard and the 30 seconds of the closing billboard. So you have 4 minutes within the show that you're going to be able to talk about your product. That's how we charge you. Then we go back to what time of day is it, and we go back to what is the duration? Is it a 5 minute radio show? Because basically in Zimbabwe and on the stations that I work with, 5 minutes of a show, like let's say the crime watch that I was speaking about, maybe the show runs for 5 minutes. You are entitled to 60 seconds, 1 minute of advertising. So maybe your opening billboard will be 10 seconds, your closing will be 10 seconds. And then that means you have 40 seconds to place an advert within the 5 minutes, right? You go to a 10-minute radio show, you're entitled to 2 minutes of commercial time. You go to a 30-minute program, you're entitled to perhaps 7.5 minutes or 10 minutes. It differs, it really differs. But I hope you understand the essence. Then, of course, the last one is infomercials. And infomercials, like I said, you're taking a whole block. You're buying 5 minutes to talk about Lee K Holdings. So you go on the show, there may be a rep of your organization is explaining what Lee K Holdings is all about, or you've given the presenter to do that job for you because they do it much better than the people that work in your organization. Well, sometimes it differs. You have very eloquent people within your organization. That's your choice. So you either give a script to the radio presenter, or you have one of your own. Maybe they're in PR, maybe they're in marketing, and they're coming to explain what you do as Lee K Holdings. But this is for a whole block. So basically what it means is we have stopped our programming to give you space to talk about your organization. So it's going to cost you more. But again, we go back to what time of day is it being done and what is the duration. So it could be a block of 5 minutes, could be a block of 10 minutes, it could be a block of 20 minutes, but sometimes that's playing around with audiences, because when you're going to talk about your organization, obviously it's not going to be really exciting unless you can package it so well that people stay glued. But you don't want to go into those territories where people start going or thinking of changing the channel because it's maybe 20 minutes of talking about Lee K organization. So you want to keep it nice and short and very exciting. It's all about the packaging. And this is what we do on radio. We also help you understand how best you can package your infomercial or your spot ad. So I'll end there and then tell you what it takes to then come up with your opening billboard or your advertising. So we have things like production costs for your adverts. We've got things like hiring a voiceover. So this is also then comes up with the cost of advertising. So I hope that you get what I'm saying. That sometimes when you ask us, how much does it cost to advertise? And when we don't give you a one-word answer, no, we're not being evasive. No, we're not being rude to you. We really want to understand what you want so that we can deliver what you want. I hope this helps. And you can also go onto the YouTube channel. It's Leander Kandiero, Lee's Things. Go onto YouTube, subscribe, and follow some of these videos that tell you about radio. Today, we're looking just at advertising and marketing of your product. And I hope that we have answered some of your questions. You can